Hello, this is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden. I am here this morning, afternoon. It's like 7:18. So I'm here this evening with an announcement. I'm going to be completely revamping the Healing Garden. The Feeling Garden. Oh, that's something I could work with. So I basically spent this entire week really crunching my brain down into some very solid, what direction am I taking this? Where do I want to go with it? What do I want to do? And while I did all of that, I also tuned myself so deep into my identity, and I figured out a lot about myself. I dug out a lot of basically unresolved issues, and that really skyrocketed me into a massive direction with this. And I went, hold the phone. I really need to go all out and go into a direction with this. So, this is basically me keeping everybody in the loop, getting you updated, and filling you in as to what's going on. Basically, I have this really awesome technique that I developed for myself after 28 years of therapy, 28 years of field applied psychology that I started in 1995 when I was 15 years old. I was basically in a really fucking horrible situation, and I just finally reached that point where I had had enough. And I realized that in order to get out of my abusive situation, my only way out was A, to become smarter than my abusers, and B, to become more educated than my abusers. There is a difference. And that's when I turned to the one thing that they repelled and hated more than anything, called books. And I studied psychology, I studied philosophy, I studied sociology. And I did little else but cram knowledge into my tiny little brain at 15 years old, so that by the time I was 20, I came up with a process, a concept called the Rorschach print perspective. Now, the Rorschach print perspective basically works like this, and this is the root to what would become my mother theory. So, the Rorschach print consists of this: every one of us is sitting on a pillar looking out into the world, consuming all of this information and trying to assess our own reality. However, in front of our vision, between us on our pillars and what is out there in the world and what we are looking at, are these filters in front of us that I referred to as Rorschach prints. It was like we were trying to see the actual reality of where we were and what was happening to us while we were looking through distortions, Rorschach prints, things that determined what our perception was going to be, things that distorted the actual reality. So we could figure out what it was we were actually looking at, because we were looking at reality through a Rorschach print. This was my theory. And I realized that all the information that I had on my little lone pillar, oh my God, I realized it was the Matrix. In 2002, I figured out that we were in the Matrix, and we were sitting on our pillars, me on my pillar, you over there on your pillar, that dude over there on his pillar. And we're all looking through life, trying to figure out what's happening to us while we're sitting on our pillars, looking through all these multiple Rorschach print filters. And I learned how to look around the filters, how to remove the filters, how to see the actual perceived reality of what is while I'm sitting on my pillar. And all the information that comes to me is only ever the information that I receive with my five senses: what I see, what I smell, what I taste, what I hear, and what I feel physically. Also, what I feel emotionally, my intuition. And I realized that these five or six senses are absolutely 100% our opinions. And that my five senses, six senses, differ drastically from yours and from that guy's over there. And so, if we are all forming our own different perspective based on our own different five senses, how could we possibly ever form fact when, in point of fact, all of the information that we accumulate, each one of us, is based off of five senses that are subject to opinion? That is when I realized all of us are ever trying to do in life is to see reality, engage the perspective of our reality and our perceived truth based off of these five opinionated sources: what we see, smell, taste, touch, and feel. And that is when I realized that each and every one of us is simply sitting on a pillar trying to perceive their own version of reality. And if you really want to know the truth, all we have to do is remove the Rorschach prints. Suddenly, everything that was ever said to me at that moment was just an opinion. And what I believe is just an opinion. And what a religious leader says to me is just an opinion. And what scientists sit down and write in their little books and the instruments that they try and measure are only gauged on the physics defined within our realm, within our perceived perspectives. Reality and truth are opinions. And that is when I realized that your opinion is no better than my opinion. Suddenly, the abuser, the narcissist who had raped me for 5 years, who had raped me on 9/11, it didn't matter if he was 30 years older than me. It didn't matter that he was an accomplished New York City attorney. He was just an opinion. And just like that, I was free from his psychological entrapment. Just like that, he went from being this massive authority to nothing at all. Because no one's opinion is better than mine. And no one's opinion is better than yours, because that's the beauty of opinions. They're equal. They're not right and they're not wrong. Right and wrong belong in ethics, belong over there in the world of morality. And they too are opinion, which means everything that he said to me meant nothing. And suddenly I had my authority. And I said this to him. I said, everything you are saying to me is your opinion. And he blew up and he screamed at me and I laughed because everything he said to me was just his opinion. And he screamed at me again and I laughed again and I said again, and that is just your opinion. It broke instantly my Stockholm syndrome. Instantly, I was free from that slave owner. All of his power over me fell off of me. And I went, well, holy shit, I'm onto something here. I was 20 years old, 21 years old, and I managed to out-lawyer an attorney in New York City because my argument was solid. Because I found a way to philosophize and argue, understanding a completely different perspective on what opinion is and how perspective works. Now, I'm going to break this down for you. 20 years later, I figured it out. And I kept holding on to that Rorschach print perspective. I could not let it go. For 20 years, I held on to it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I said, that's going to come back. That's got something to do with this. That's the core to this. It's the key. And in 2022, I found the door. And I just slid in that Rorschach print perspective and I opened the door and I went, son of a fucking bitch. There is the rest of it. And just like that, I could move my perspective wherever I wanted it. Just like that, somebody could come in and abuse me and I was able to remove myself from my pillar and look around the Rorschach print and go, son of a bitch, I see the reality. I see my truth, even though they have filtered it and put their bullshit in front of me. See, that is what the Rorschach print perspective is. It is toxic beliefs and toxic perspectives. It is filters that they put between you and your ability to perceive your reality. That is what abuse is. And they do this to hijack your perspective, to hijack your truth, so that you will obey them, so that they will own you, so that you won't question them, so that you will be confused, so that you become submissive, so that you don't understand, so that you don't know, so that you lose who you are. I know who I am. I know exactly who I am. And better yet, I know how to figure out who I am. And I did. And I know exactly what tools I used to figure out who I am. And I figured out exactly what tools I needed to figure out where I belong. And I figured out the tools to determine what the truth is for me. And I figured out the tools and the skills to determine what I needed for me. And I went, well, holy fucking shit, everyone can use this information. And when I hand it to people, I watch their mental illnesses fall away. Imagine it. When I hand this information to people, I watch their mental illnesses just go, oh, I don't need this belief. That's a Rorschach print. That's a Rorschach print, which there's my truth. There is who I am. And suddenly, boom, 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 boom. They literally just, their defense system in their brain turns on. Their fear system turns off. The guilt plates that just run and run in their heads go away because those are just Rorschach prints. Do you see what I'm telling you here? This is powerful fucking shit. And I know how to do it. I don't just know how to do it. I have a scientific, psychological based, philosophical method that I have in the palm of my hands, know-how that I can write down on a piece of paper, and I have. And then I say to you, guess what I've got? I have the cure to mental illness. I understand grief. I understand perspective. I understand the Rorschach print. I understand toxic beliefs. I understand the process of abuse. I am the mind whisperer. I can look at a subconscious mind, rip it apart in 5 minutes, and break down exactly what happened, why it happened, where it's happening, what Rorschach prints are in your way, which ones you need to remove, and why. I can tell you how you need to be soothed, how you need to be comforted. I know exactly what your coping style is just based off of a little bit of information from you, and I can go boom, boom, boom. There's the logical connection because I know how the subconscious mind works. I figured it out. I cured incurable mental illnesses that my therapist told me I would have for the rest of my life because of my method. So yeah, I built the Healing Garden and I went, I got something here and I got to figure out how to market it and get it out there and let people know this fucking works. This is fucking something. And the way that they're doing it now with insurance governed therapy doesn't fucking work. I know, I've been there. Here's the beautiful thing about me. I have endured so much abuse for so long with so many varieties that I have literally endured almost every type of abuse you can imagine. I had almost every mental illness you can think of, and I defeated it. The best part of this is I know every bullshit lie, every bullshit trick the subconscious uses against you. I know because my subconscious mind used them on me for 40 years. And I had to figure it all out. It was the only way. So there isn't a goddamn thing you can say to me that I haven't already heard from my own subconscious mind. I already had to sit down and listen to the same bullshit from my subconscious. And I had to argue with my subconscious and say, you're fucking bullshit. I know who you are right now. You are talking about my abuser. You are defending my abuser. I've got my identity over here, and you're over there defending my abuser, spewing his fucking words at me, manipulating me and controlling me. I know whose side you are on. Because the first thing that happens to you when you are abused is your subconscious mind changes sides. Your subconscious mind literally turns on you and joins the side of your abuser. They are a traitor because their motive is to keep you safe. So when your subconscious mind is trying to keep you safe, if that means they abandon you, shove you down, cut you out, destroy you, kill you even, they will to keep you safe. And the subconscious mind becomes your enemy's best friend. And they turn loyal to the narcissist and the abuser just to keep you safe. The subconscious mind knows no bounds to which it will go to keep you safe. Stop trusting your subconscious mind. Better yet, you need to outsmart it, and I know how. According to the CDC and the National Institute of Mental Health, the subconscious mind has 95% control over your life and your life choices, and you are just its little bitch. I know because I used to be its little bitch. The problem is my subconscious mind was 1000% subservient to my narcissist abusers. Once I figured this out, I learned to question everything. Oh, so by all means, I ask you to listen to me. I figured it out. Because if I didn't, I would still have borderline personality disorder. If I didn't figure it out, I would still have dissociative identity disorder, otherwise known as multiple personalities. If I hadn't figured it out, I would still be a shut-in in my bed, cowering for 20 fucking years. If I hadn't figured it out, I would not be a public speaker talking to you right now. I am living proof that this works. There's no other logical explanation for it because I figured out how the subconscious mind works, all of its parts, how it thinks, how it moves, where it's located, all the levels, all of its tricks, all of its lies. I mastered the art of the subconscious mind, broke it down. I turned the subconscious mind into my partner. I learned how to work with it as a team so I could find my identity. And oh, fucking did I. I found my identity. I found who I am. And I revived her. And I brought her back. And when I did that, that is when I discovered the knowing. And that is when I discovered the belonging. And that is when I regained my authority. And that is when and how I came to be where I am today. Now, I can take my information and I can throw it away and say, well, I'm healed. Life is good. I'm happy now. The thing about the subconscious mind is it absolutely 100% pursues safety. You, the conscious awareness, the conscious mind, is on this pursuit of happiness. And you're scrambling all over the world trying to find happiness. You're trying to find the right husband or the right wife. You're trying to find the right job. You're trying to program and escalate yourself into a better position. You're trying to make more money. You're trying to have the right kids. You're trying to be the best parent. You're trying to have the best relationship with your parents. You're trying to have the finest of education, the finest of relationship with your parents, and the finest of life that you could possibly have. You are on this massive pursuit of happiness. But your subconscious, the one who's really in charge, is pursuing safety. And I know every little trick that it has just to obtain its safety. So, this is my official calling to arms, a beacon in the darkness, throwing it out to you saying, are you lost? Have you given up yet? How many years of therapy have you been in? I don't blame you. I've been there too. It didn't work for me either. Funny how that works. No, I've been there. I've spent hours, weeks, years in therapy talking about everything that everybody did to me, and it did nothing. I spent thousands of dollars on programs, millions of dollars on books, analyzing, psychoanalyzing, breaking it down, trying to figure it out because what I was handed by the government didn't fucking work. Imagine that. So here I am now saying, fuck the government, Fuck therapy. Fuck the professionals who are 100% at the mercy of the insurance governed rules of how you are or are not going to be therapied, because they call the shots, not the therapists. And I'm creating my own path. I'm taking all of my accumulated knowledge of almost 30 years of sociology, philosophy, and psychology. I am taking all of my accumulated knowledge of Reiki healing, energy healing, meditation, yoga, and Tai Chi, and now havening. I am studying bioenergetics, physics, music, art, theater, Shakespeare, liberal arts, the 200 books that I read from the Great List. I am amassing all of it. I have. And I am condensing it down into the healing garden. I have 3 pillars of healing: mind, body, and soul. I have an area where all I do is show you how to manifest your own healing off of psychological, science-based information that proves why and how manifestation works. This is not random woohoo astrological shit. And here's a clue: the astrological shit is actually starting to be proven as effective, and it's legit. Kern and physicists are actually working on it now, and it's starting to bring it out. We're all racing towards this massive goal, and we're all heading towards the same finish line. Religions, spiritualists, scientists, atheists. We're all making different pathways to get to the same goal. And I'm at the dead center of that goal already. I got here on my own way. I'm the first. I am the first because I took a different road. My life fucking depended on it more times than once. And I got here and I went, holy fucking shit. I have psychology. I have spirituality. I see how they're connected. I see physics. I see the philosophies. I see it all. And it's all coming together. Now I'm building this garden. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am not one of those meek healers who talks to you like you're on your deathbed. Because that doesn't work. It doesn't work because it actually enables the victim mindset. Because you come to a healer broken and lost, and you're traumatized, and you have a sound sensitivity, which is why I write all of my inspirational, motivational speeches out in words, because I understand your PTSD. 44 triggers once, and I overcame them all. So I get that you can't handle motivational speakers. So I write my motivational speeches out, and then I hand them to you. And I show you, look, you can do this. You are not as weak as you think you are. You are desensitized, and we're going to work on that. I know how. But what I am telling you right now is I know the way out. I am the queen of the darkness. I am so familiar with trauma that it doesn't faze me anymore. I was raped a month ago. And it's because I already knew psychologically what he was doing to me while it was being done to me, that I was able to put into my head what exactly he was doing to me when he was gaslighting me, lying to me, raping me, controlling me, manipulating me, having sex while I was unconscious. I know exactly what was being done to me. And the week that followed, I immediately said, the very first thing that's going to happen is my subconscious mind is immediately going to side with my abuser, because that is what the subconscious mind does, because it wants to keep me safe. And I knew this. I knew it. So I watched it happen. I watched my stupid little subconscious mind, I love you, Rick, immediately abandon me, go to the side of my abuser, and start going, wait, what just happened? I'm confused. Of course you're confused, because he put toxic beliefs inside of you, because he lied to you, because he drugged you. Bottom line, my ethics don't change. And my ethics were solid. And I was able to use my ethics to overthrow my beliefs, my toxic beliefs that he forced into me. And I was able to take back my subconscious mind using my identity and my ethics. That's how it's done, people. When you know your ethics and your identity so strongly that when they give you bullshit facts facts, bullshit beliefs, your ethics and your identity kick on and take over and say, those beliefs are not yours because your ethics and your identity are X. Therefore, those beliefs do not match. Those are not your beliefs. Those beliefs belong to him. They are not yours. This subconscious mind belongs to me. In 1 week, my subconscious mind turned on my abuser and said, I know what my ethics are. I know who I am. And you will not be allowed to take my mind away from me. That is the power of the Rorschach print perspective. Do I have your attention? So yeah, I'm calling out to everybody. I am calling you home. I'm telling you, I have the answers that they told me didn't exist. Them telling me that my borderline personality disorder was incurable wasn't fucking good enough for me. And I found a way to make it happen anyway. So I'm calling everybody and I'm saying, come home. I know how to do this. I have the methods. Welcome to the Healing Garden.